Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Got you your latest forecast. Got to 90 for a high already officially in Charleston. Average yesterday was 81, so 9 degrees above average. We have a chance of some general thunderstorms for today, and then starting on Wednesday, Storm Prediction Center including northern and eastern West Virginia. And one of those marginal risks where isolated large hail and damaging winds will be possible with the storm round tomorrow. But I'll be timing multiple rounds. We have a stationary front transitioning into a warm front today, so increasing heat, humidity, and timing multiple likely chances of rain and storms. Over the next 5 days, once you get into the ranks of the purples, that's like 1.5 inches or more of total rain. And locally higher amounts will be possible too. Today and tonight, there is a marginal to slight risk of excessive rain for another potential of some flash flooding with any of these passing showers and storms. Always remember, turn around, don't drown, as some areas of the state today and tonight, likely chances of rain. Heavy and excessive rain is a possibility. Fly Survey forecast, it starts at home. Many of the cities in here in an active and unsettled pattern too. Washington, D.C., forecasting a record high again by Thursday, high near 97. Chicago, 91 Wednesday. Risks of severe thunderstorms for the Windy City going up by the middle of the week. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs low to mid-80s, chance of showers and storms. To the east, 70s, mostly mid to upper 80s in the lower elevations. Chance of showers and storms late. From east to west, 70s and 80s in here, chance of showers and storms. To the south, highs near 80 or so, with that risk of excessive rain today and tonight for that flash flood potential. We don't have a cold front to sweep through until very late in the week, so we will have increasing heat risks. 92 on Thursday, potential heat index value approaching 100, 90 on Friday. Chances of showers and thunderstorms that could be heavy at times, some slighter chances by early next week.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. For your entertainment, Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Or call 800-765-8255. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
All right, hello, West Virginia. We are back for more in the 304. Time to get it done in the 681. Time to start this 3-hour audio tour for Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. Metro News Hotline. Metro News Hotline, by the way, comes to you from the Salango Law Studios. Visit salangolaw.com. Well, the rain here in the valley has cooled down things just a bit. Coop, I don't have the exact temperature, so I'm just going to call it. I think it's probably like 78-ish, you know. Have you got do you have a feeling inside where you could tell when the temperature is under 80 degrees? Because that's kind of like, you know.
What kind of voodoo is that? Well, I don't know. What are you talking about?
I'm feeling.
All right.
I'm feeling a little 78-ish out there, but that's just a guess.
Man, after all these years, I'm learning something new here. That's a superpower.
Just a guess, you know. After a few decades on the old planet. Hey, look who came back.
Hey.
Ryan, thank you for joining us.
It's 80 degrees outside.
It's 80 degrees. It's
so
not.
You were completely wrong. Yes.
Well,
and the breeze is probably under 80. You know?
Okay, listen, Ryan. First of all, I'm glad you're back, but obviously your early comments show that you are not rehabilitated after a couple of days of suspension. But
no,
we got to help you out. No, you weren't technically on suspension. Not technically.
Not technically.
But
no.
you were in the Windy City in
Yes,
Chicago.
I was. Yes.
The city with the big shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
So did that go out? Did the trip go well?
It went great.
Okay, go well.
I think Pete Crow Armstrong said something rude to him.
PCA, he looked up in the stands, saw Ryan, and let another ball roll through his legs and go all the way to the ivy. Oh, my goodness. Hey, I don't want to bury the lead. It's a Tickets Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Finally, the last tickets to that band.
Is it Chicago, the band?
Yes.
They'll be here in Charleston on the 20th, which is coming up.
Yeah, it's in 10 days. I doubt if we get another round now. This is probably the last
That's what
one.
you said last week.
I mean, when you do a good job, they keep coming back. But I think that this might be the last one.
I just feel that if there's somebody that you could point out in the building, if we turned them upside down and did a good shake, that a couple more tickets might fall out.
I just want to see Peterson Terra come to town and do an opposing concert across town, and then do a war.
Yeah,
like Peterson Terra versus Chicago.
Yeah. So we got a Tickets Tuesday. That'll be at 5:33 today. The topics, the categories for the Tickets Tuesday today are WVU and the College World Series, Chicago the band because duh. Yeah. And then the mystery category. Nice. Oh, and you're going to like the mystery category today, Coop.
I always do.
You're going to like the mystery category.
Our listeners like the mystery category as well.
Yeah. There's a little bit of gamesmanship if you've played Tickets Tuesday. You think, well, I know all about WVU baseball. That's got to be the easiest category for me. Well, is it? We'll find out. That'll be coming up at 5:33. High school baseball. Did you see where Bridgeport walked it off against Fairmont East today?
I wondered what inspiration they took from you.
Did you know that I actually played on the Bridgeport High baseball team for 1 year?
Yes, I hear about this time every year.
When I was a sophomore, I was on the team for 1 year. And much like my situation here, I was the third best Dave on the team. So yeah, they walked it off. The Indians walked it off, and so they're through to the semifinals after beating the Bees. And let's see what else is going on. Oh, Spring Valley and Ripley. This was a game that did we have a in-game rain delay or a delay to start this bad boy?
It was in the top of the second inning.
Oh, okay.
There was an hour rain delay. They picked it back up. Almost an hour ago now, so they're probably winding their way through towards the end.
Well, I can update you. We're 8-8 after 4.
Oh yeah. No pitching in that game.
Oh, a couple other things I did want to mention to you. Coop, did you pay attention to the Reds game last night?
I was hoping that maybe Ryan would distract us from the sporty sports or something. Yeah, man, I am. It's a little rough right now. It's a little rough.
Hey, Dave.
What is it, Ryan?
Guess what I did in Chicago?
Coop, one more thing about the game last night.
Hey, Dave.
What is it?
So, some major league managers, when they get to the show, they're like, you know what? We're going to hit every day. We're going to field every day. We're going to do everything we're supposed to do. No lollygaggers. That kind of thing.
Right.
So, I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Last night, the Reds botched 3 sacrifice bunts by the Padres in a row.
It's some of the worst baseball I've ever seen in my life.
Without 3 sacrifice bunts.
I was
in
watching.
A row.
Yeah, it was seriously some of the worst Bush League playing baseball that I've ever seen in my life.
Okay,
like all of those guys should sit. Like seriously, every single one of those players should sit.
So does Francona have infield before the game?
Yeah, good question, because this isn't the first game that this has happened in.
2 games in a row.
Yeah, 2 games in a row, and this has been a theme throughout the season where the infield has no idea where to go with the ball, who's covering what play. Apparently, they defer to depending on a pitcher's disposition. TJ Anton is a little bit more. You hear this on the radio broadcast. TJ Anton stands up there and he's a little bit more aggressive, so you might need to get out of his way. Well, isn't there a coach that decides who gets out of whose way? Yeah. I mean, isn't that what managers do? Seriously, man, that is a circus. That team is a circus.
So, Sal Stewart, I'm not going to give him too much of a hard time. He's
he might deserve it because he does this like every third game. He has some boneheaded defensive play where he's like doing something ridiculously stupid.
Speaking of bones, guess what I did in Chicago, Dave?
What'd you do in Chicago?
I went to a magnificent little place called the Field Museum. It's one of the best natural history museums in North America, if not the world.
Yeah, Ryan and I
Nice.
commiserated over this early. That's one of my favorite places in the world.
I've
I
never
love the
been
Film
there.
Museum.
I've been-
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it
it was
really is
built.
amazing.
It was built for one of the world's fairs, and they just kept it around, and it's great.
Hey, last night you said your flight was delayed multiple times.
Oh yeah. Now my flight to Chicago was also delayed, but not by much, maybe like an hour or so. But last night I had a 5:40 flight out of Chicago to Charleston. It got delayed to 9:25.
Oof.
And then I landed in Charleston, and there were no Ubers I landed at like 12:20, so like a little after midnight. There were no Ubers out. And thankfully one guy, shout out to Matthew, he was the one Uber last night that picked me up.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I got home around like 1 o'clock.
Well, it's been my experience that the longer you wait in the day to fly, the more likely it is that your flight is going to be delayed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you need to be thinking in terms of, is your plane the first plane that leaves the airport?
Yeah.
And that's the way it goes. But
Everything at O'Hare was delayed.
yeah, O'Hare's crazy.
Like I looked at the arrival and departures board. It was just yellow, delayed, canceled, delayed. It was crazy.
You
It
know,
was
when you
nasty.
fly into a big city, when you fly into New York, when you fly into Chicago, when you fly into Philadelphia, it's so impressive when you see the city. But there is something special about when you come back to Yeager. You know, I mean,
yeah.
just a beautiful, and you didn't get a chance to experience that because you didn't land. It was dark, right? You didn't see it.
It is very concerning when you look out a plane at night flying into Yeager, and it's just like you can barely see. Oh, the tree line is coming up.
Yeah, right.
Is it going too fast? Have the pilots ever landed at Yeager before?
That's so true. Wait a minute, is Stephanie on the line? Stephanie's in the box. Is she on the phone, Coop?
I hear the dilithium crystals, I think.
Stephanie in the box. What's happening? What's going on?
Guess what Ryan did on his vacation?
What?
I don't know. It was a joke I tried earlier.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit late on it, I guess.
That's all right.
Should maybe turn that into a knock-knock joke.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad you're back there. Coop, did you see where I got a jar of honey for just coming to work today?
Wait, what?
They were giving what was the story in that, Ryan? They were giving away food at the old expiring Kroger.
Jack Carlson of Metro News fame, he was covering the Kroger expansion over in Elkview, and they were giving out free stuff. And he comes in during midday, and he's like, hey, I got this stuff. Your first pick. And I'm like, all right, I'll take this jar of honey. And then as he leaves, I realize I have no use for a jar of honey.
Honey is strong, though, man. I love honey.
Yeah. So the first person I give it to is Dave.
All right, there you go.
You know, do you keep your honey with your molasses? Because I keep them side by side.
I'll have to ask Linda about that.
Yeah,
I'll have to
yeah,
ask
side by
Linda about
side.
that. But this
Do you
is
keep it next to your lard?
Lord.
The answer for me is yes. There are actually 3 in a row right on the shelf.
Hey, you know, we were talking about this. So I'm sure there's an article about the expanded Kroger in South Charleston at the website. But Coop, we need a nickname for it.
The big Kroger.
We need a nickname for it because I was over there. I was just over there Saturday. I was in there twice, and it reminded me to tell you this story because I got the jar of honey. I went back because there's so many things that are on sale over there now because I guess they don't want to move it. So I basically went a second time on Saturday just to stock up on Wheaties.
Hey, I got potato chips and cereal bars from the Jack Hall.
Did you?
So, I mean, we all got – but I like when stores do that. You can find some deals
Yeah.
sometimes. By the way, Brian Hughes, Metro News meteorologist, just sent me a message. The temperature is back on the rise now. It's raised 2 degrees in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, so
He's
that,
the busiest sick dude going, right? He called in sick, but he's contributing to every show.
The conduit that he has with the weather is incredible. It's like a sixth sense. It's really something else to watch.
So what do you think about a nickname for the new Kroger? Because I think I got it. I think I got one.
K-Dog?
K-Dog. That's good. That's
Here
good.
we go with Big K.
Big K.
isn't
Jeff.
that taken?
It's their drink.
Yeah, that's supposed
Yeah.
to be the Big K Cola.
Now, as always, Dave's about 4 steps ahead of everybody.
I know.
He had this story at the new Kroger when this story is the Elkview Kroger, Dave, today.
Oh.
Kroger has announced, and they did and Bryan said this.
Yeah.
He just said this, is there is a groundbreaking ceremony. They're expanding the Kroger in Elkview at the Crossings Mall.
Right. Yes,
right, and putting
yes.
in the old Kmart. Putting it in the old Kmart, 90,000 square feet. So you're talking about, now that is coming up on June 24th.
All right. Yes.
But as always, Dave's, you know.
I just noticed that the corrections file cabinet just fell through the floor behind Dave.
I know. The corrections file had to be opened before the end of the first segment.
4 steps. You know.
Is the show started yet?
I was going to say, to run this show, it takes a village. It takes a village.
All right,
So, but
that
Jeff,
was one of the good lines.
Classic.
So, Jeff, do you have a suggestion about the big Kroger, or a nickname for it? Because it's the Gucci Kroger. You can't take that name; it's already taken.
So we're not talking about the Elkview one now,
No,
right?
no, we're talking to the one I was at. We're moving on from the correction
what
file.
matters.
You've already been in the new one?
No, I've been by it.
Well, I know you and Linda in the South Charleston scene.
Oh, no doubt. I was over there on Saturday. You could literally, when you go turn right in there, you could literally run out of gas before you get to where the new gas location is. It's so far in the back.
So this will be the first marketplace Kroger in West Virginia.
So it's called the whole thing is called Park Place, right?
That's right.
So why can't we just call it Kroger Park? What do you think about that?
Makes me want to go play baseball.
Yeah, it does make it sound like you want to go play baseball, but I thought Kroger Park might work.
There used to be a baseball field. This is maybe before your time coming to Charles. Used to be a baseball field in Kanawha City, and around it were Kroger trucks because of the Kroger Distribution Center. There used to be a baseball field down on that end of Kanawha City.
I forgot all about that. That's right. That was a long time ago.
When I was driving around Park Place, I went around the back, all the way around the back. Man, there's ducks back there. There are ducks back there wondering what is going on.
Were you trespassing?
I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere with it.
Dave's like looking in windows and stuff.
No,
there's like security.
There were coned areas. I did not venture inside those, but I did go all the way to the back where the
big area,
huge.
It is.
Absolutely huge area. Coop, I was thinking about you when I was at the Kroger on Saturday because I got out of the car and across the parking lot from me, I saw a woman who was wearing a Golden Girls T-shirt.
That made you think of me?
Well, it made me think of you because you're about the only guy I know who you wear T-shirts that reference TV shows.
I do. My Friday
right?
T-shirts, a lot of times, there'll be like some vintage shirt that I'll
Yeah, you got
put
the
on,
Agent Dale Cooper shirt that you wear, and you've got the Star Trek shirt. Probably a couple of other things, too.
Tons, yes. But, yeah, right.
I just don't know if I ever had a T-shirt that promoted like a television show.
Now that makes me wonder which of the Golden Girls I would want on a T-shirt if I had one.
This
would
was
it be all 3 of them, or would it be
There
Blanche?
were 4, I think. Right? Or how many were?
I don't know.
Get Stephanie on the phone. She'd know this. Hey, Stephanie, how many Golden Girls are there?
4.
There's 4.
Right?
Okay, I had that right. That's surprising. But I don't think I've ever had a T-shirt that promoted it. You ever have a T-shirt that promoted a TV show, Ryan?
Sure. I think I had like a Doctor Who shirt in,
there you
in
go.
high school.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so I went back to the house, and all I've got is like sports teams, and individual schools and stuff. I don't have any T-shirts.
Oh man, I need to get you like
one
like
with
a
the Fonz on it,
or maybe the Gilmore's Girl shirt. I think that'd be a nice nightie for you.
Yeah,
nice
that
shirt.
would be pretty nice. Let me get the question of the day up. Oh, because I tell you what, I think we're going to get a lot of response on this question of the day because it's about uncomfortable shoes. It's about uncomfortable shoes and some data that we have about this. New survey reveals that 56% of Americans regularly buy shoes that they later regret due to discomfort, wasting an average of $279 on painful footwear they never wear. The study found that people walk nearly 1,200 miles annually, stand 5 hours a day, yet many suffer lingering pain from 2 full days after wearing uncomfortable shoes. So here's the question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. What is the most expensive thing sitting in your closet right now that you have rarely worn, and why don't you wear it? What's the most expensive thing sitting in your closet right now, a piece of clothing, that you have rarely worn, and why don't you wear it? To respond, text those in, 304-TALK, 304-825-5304. Tweet me. I'm on Exit Weekly, WEEKLEY. One word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. Coop, I got a good story for mine. Do you have something that popped right up in your mind? The most expensive thing that's in your closet, a piece of clothing that you rarely wear?
I have a bunch of like business weather jackets that was gifted to me several years ago. A lot of them are relatively high dollar, and they're not my style, and they fit, but that's it. They just have like Coop in a London Fog outfit isn't like, unless I want to go flashing someone, isn't really going to make it work. but there's like a half dozen of stuff that are from like European makes and different things like that. It's just not my thing. And because they were given to me, I can't sell them. Just like the tickets yesterday.
All right, Jeff. Thanks for the correction on the Kroger confusion. What's up in the news today? What's going on?
May surprise you. We do have a story at the website, groundbreaking held for new and expanded Kroger store in Elkview. Also, the lead story is Berkeley County officials have been asking questions about data center to the tax department. What can they expect in tax revenue from data centers? And the tax department has answered the Berkeley County officials. Brad has the story with those answers at wvmetronews.com. And also there are groups questioning the State Public Service Commission on its recent order about an inflationary rate increase for Appalachian Power customers. I listened to a hearing today. We've got that story. And congratulations to the new members of the Golden Horseshoe.
Yeah.
Jack Carlson was up there today, talked to some of them, 225 new members.
What a great photo this is.
Yeah.
What a great photo of this is. Did he take this picture too?
That one that's posted now, no, that's from the State Department of Education.
That's nice. That's
yes.
nice. The guys and gals in this photo, they don't need a correction file. They get all their stuff right. Jeff, did you ever see anything like that Reds attempt to field bunts last night?
No, Dave. Sal Stewart, I thought, was a little too aggressive on that. I mean,
do you remember during Abbott's last start, this exact same thing happened?
Yeah.
The same progression of pitchers, or at least Anton was in at some point after Abbott, and they make it sound like on the broadcasting, like, well, Abbott's a little bit more laid back, so you go get the bunts when Abbott's on the mound, but if Anton's up there, you have to give him the opportunity because what is that? Isn't it coaching? I mean, it's an assignment, right? It doesn't matter like the attitude of the pitcher.
No, it's just poor play. And I understand why they send Abbott back out there. I mean, the way their bullpen is.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, he had retired like 10 guys in a row.
He had. It's Dave, maybe they've hit rock bottom. Have no idea. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I hope so too, because it's rough.
But it's pretty rough right now.
Jeff, thank you. Appreciate it. Ryan, thanks for coming back to work, man.
I was tempted not to, but
I know the feeling. We'll take a break. We're coming back in a minute.
Hey. You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Stay ahead of West Virginia weather with Metro News Television. Now bringing you a new way to stay informed across the Mountain State. Get updates daily at 9, noon, and 4. From headlines and precipitation to severe weather threats and highs and lows. See conditions from panhandle to panhandle and check travel with the Fly CRW forecast. Our meteorologists are on your screens and on Talkline, Midday, Hotline, and Sportsline, keeping you up to date. Metro News Television weather. Accurate, local, and always on.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia. nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
West Virginia Metro.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Greer Industries, improving people's lives for more than a century.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Got you your latest forecast. Got to 90 for a high already officially in Charleston. Average yesterday was 81, so 9 degrees above average. We have a chance of some general thunderstorms for today, and then starting on Wednesday, Storm Prediction Center including northern and eastern West Virginia. And one of those marginal risks where isolated large hail and damaging winds will be possible with the storm round tomorrow. But I'll be timing multiple rounds. We have a stationary front transitioning into a warm front today, so increasing heat, humidity, and timing multiple likely chances of rain and storms. Over the next 5 days, once you get into the ranks of the purples, that's like 1.5 inches or more of total rain, and locally higher amounts will be possible too. Today and tonight, there is a marginal to slight risk of excessive rain for another potential of some flash flooding with any of these passing showers and storms. Always remember, turn around, don't drown, as some areas of the state today and tonight, chances of rain. Heavy and excessive rain's a possibility. Fly Survey forecast, it starts at home. Many of the cities in here in an active and unsettled pattern too. Washington, D.C., forecasting a record high again by Thursday, high near 97. Chicago, 91 Wednesday. Risks of severe thunderstorms for the Windy City going up by the middle of the week. From Panhandle to Panhandle, highs low to mid-80s, chance of showers and storms. To the east, 70s, mostly mid to upper 80s in the lower elevations, chance of showers and storms late. From east to west, 70s and 80s in here, chance of showers and storms. To the south, highs near 80 or so, with that risk of excessive rain today and tonight for that flash flood potential. We don't have a cold front to sweep through until very late in the week, so we will have increasing heat risks. 92 on Thursday, potential heat index value approaching 100, 90 on Friday. Chances of showers and thunderstorms that could be heavy at times, some slighter chances by early next week.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
The 2026 High School Baseball State Championship. 4 classes, 4 champions, 1 unforgettable day. From first pitch to final out, the 2026 West Virginia High School Baseball State Championship, presented by Toyota. Saturday, June 13th. Watch live on Metro News Television, Facebook, and YouTube. Available on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. With Metro News Hotline, if it's trending, it's probably here.
And then the other thing, his last name is one of those weird Norwegian names where they have two vowels that slam into each other. It's like the A and the E are like cemented into each other.
You're like the 12th Dave that works here. What do you think people from Norwegian think about that?
That is fair.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
All right, welcome back. 26 till the hour. We'll get into the sound of sports here in a sec. I can give you an update on the high school baseball tournament. Spring Valley just scored a run in the top of the sixth, and they now lead Ripley 9-8. Top six. Bridgeport walked it off earlier today against Fairmont East. 3-2 was the final. Metro News is your home for all the action in the West Virginia high school baseball tournament. AAA quarterfinals today. Quad A quarterfinals tomorrow. At some point in this 3-hour show, we will run down all the scores and all the teams that have advanced and maybe talk a little bit about the schedule a little bit later in the week. Coop, Linda and I were having a conversation last night about concerts briefly, and I think what started it was Rush is back.
Yeah, I was watching some footage last night.
Yeah, so Rush is back, and they started their tour in Los Angeles, and I think they're playing maybe 3 or 4 shows in a row in L.A., and they're going to get that thing going and probably go to Europe. And by all indications, that it's been very well received. Are you a Rush fan?
Not particularly,
Yeah.
no. I mean, I'm glad they're on the road, and everything I hear about the band itself is that they're just some of the nicest touring artists that you're ever going to run across. And I like that they went out and found themselves a drummer so they could go do this. Like, I like the narrative. I like everything about the story, but I'm not the biggest fan in the world. But I'm enjoying the story of them getting back out there.
One of the best lines that I'm paraphrasing here, Geddy Lee from Rush was saying that now that they have a female drummer in the band, that the number of women who have actually gone to Rush concerts has actually doubled.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but you're not a prog rock person?
Honestly, not really.
Yeah.
Some individual artists or songs I can take or leave, or I can, I'll be fans of. But as far as a genre goes, it's kind of a wide-ranging field too, because there's some bands are called prog. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, they're fine. But when it comes to like the defining artists of the field, like Rush or something like that, I'm like it's one of those things. Is what's the old thing? Like if it comes on a mix, I'm fine, but it's not something I'm looking out the albums for. That's kind of the way.
Okay. Well, once the conversation started, we dug down a little bit deeper, and she went to see the Eagles when they were in Las Vegas 2 nights in a row. She won a contest to go see the Eagles in Las Vegas from SiriusXM years and years ago. So she flew out there and met some friends, and they went to a show, and then decided to hang back one more day and go again. And Coop, I've been in radio, TV. I have never seen the same band 2 days in a row. Have you ever seen the same band perform 2 days in a row?
I don't think so. I can't even think of many situations. The closest I came is back when the White Stripes were first coming up. They would perform like almost nightly at the theater in Michigan, where they would in Detroit, where they would play all the time.
Right.
And I saw them like weekends in a row, like Saturdays in a row or something like that, but not back-to-back days.
About the only person I know who I can almost guarantee has seen a band multiple days in a row would be Pat Strader. I'm sure he probably followed the Grateful Dead around for a while and saw them perform in multiple days.
I had tickets to see McCartney in in Cincinnati and Charlotte, and those shows were maybe 10 days apart, and I ended up not going to the Charlotte show. So so that wouldn't even got there. That's about the closest I can think of, though. I've never done that.
That surprised me. I completely forgot that she had gone to see the Eagles 2 days in a row.
How many bands are there that you would do that for?
Oh, that's a great question. I would, at some point, I would have probably followed Dylan around for a while because his shows were not, big stadium blowouts. I mean, there would be relatively simple
Oh,
theaters.
I saw the Decemberists in Columbus years ago, and I saw them back to back. The reason I forgot those because when they do it really uniquely. The first night they do all of their like radio friendly songs, like their 3-minute songs or whatever. Then their second night they do all like their epics, like their album long songs and stuff like that. So I saw the Decemberists 2 nights back to back, but where they were, like you said with Dylan, completely different concerts.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people who probably went to see Metallica, right, in that situation where they would play. They would change set lists on certain nights or whatever. But the thing with the Rush in Los Angeles has been really well received. Now, I haven't seen any footage.
Now, I'll tell you what, if a band that I really liked, the Stones, or like somebody that's like really on my bucket list, Oasis or Nick Cave or something like I don't know, but if they played at that Globe in Vegas, that's like the only thing that would get me to Vegas. I have no interest in anything in Vegas at all except for seeing a concert at the Globe. That's like the only interest I have.
What'd you think about Wemby last night?
Oh man, what a game, right? Little puffed up a little, huh?
Man, that's so crazy when you see a guy like who's 7'4".
He's a giant.
Step into a 3 from like 30 feet from the wing and just knocks it down. You think, man, it's not our night.
It was kind of funny seeing him manhandle Brunson a couple times too. It's like talk about like a real height disparity. Holy cow!
Yeah,
it's like why you messing with that little kid, man? Why are you doing that?
Well, it was pretty funny when you watch that clip of Wemby, like bam, bam. It was like an Abdul-Jabbar karate chop or something like that. He knocks Brunson around. It was almost like Brunson was like waiting for his mom or something to come out and do something
that's what
about
I mean.
it.
I know.
Yeah, they were slapping him around a little bit last night.
Yeah, well, Wemby even was laughing a little bit about it. It was good stuff.
You know what? We're gonna talk about this at 4:30. We have Alex Wiederspiel's on the show today, so
that means a hockey update.
So we're gonna do a hockey update in preparation for Game 4 of the finals tonight. Carolina is at Vegas, and one of the things people have been saying is through the first 3 games of the Stanley Cup Finals that we are on course for maybe the greatest series Stanley Cup Finals ever. And I watched the game on Saturday night. That was insane. Where the Vegas was up 4-0. Carolina scored 3 goals in like the space of a minute. Then they whacked in another one with 2 minutes to go in regulation. Then Vegas won in double overtime. Fantastic game. But it got me thinking, like, what are the elements that have to be in a series to quote unquote say it's the best ever?
And does it have to go 7?
I think it does.
I think you're right.
I mean, it does.
Because then you start talking about the best 6-game series ever, right? I think the bare minimum is you have to get to 7 games, right? If there's a great 6-game series, that's fine, but that's a playoff discussion upon itself. So I think that you have to go 7, right? So that's the first, or 5 or whatever it might be as far as the series goes. And then what other elements are needed?
Great individual performances.
Like a narrative, right? Like the individual narrative performance.
Great individual performances and probably something incredibly rare that occurs. I mean, if you've got a series that goes 7 games and the 7th game isn't decided until like the 3rd or the 4th overtime, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best.
No, not necessarily.
Right?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
You can quantify it in other ways, the closest or whatever, but you have to have memorable moments and memorable games. Most of the games, I think you have to be within a range of closeness. You can't really have any blowouts and stuff in there. You have to have competitiveness. A rivalry would help, like the 2 players that don't necessarily get along that well, or 2 players that maybe develop a dislike for each other during the course of the game or the series, something along those lines. You have to have some elements in there. And so, man, we could talk about this forever because I then would really like to know from all the major sports, like what are we talking about, like top 5 from each when we talk about the best post-game series ever? Because there's like when you talk about the elite, there really can't be that many, right?
Well, that's right. The other thing is, say, and we're just talking about hockey here. Say, for example, you had a series and all the games finished like 1-0.
Right.
Okay. Could you look at that series and say, hey, defensively, this is one of the most exciting on the edge finals ever? But if you're like, well, I want to see Gretzky score a bunch of goals, or I want to see Lemieux in the open ice, that would not be my best series.
I think that you have to have like kind of a variety of scores would really help. Maybe you have one. Is there goalie duels like there is pitcher duels, whatever? But maybe you have one like low-scoring game where somebody wins like a 1-0 game in overtime. Then you have another one that's like 7-6, or and then you have another one that's just back and forth the entire time. You have to have like some real moments that make you think about the game. Maybe one of the teams comes down. They're down 2-0 and they come back to win the thing. Whatever it is, there has to be that. That kind of narrative, whether it's like a Joe Carter type narrative or whatever it is, you have to have something in there that really gets you going.
All right, we have to take a break. We'll do the Sound of Sports after our next commercial break. But one of the things I want to ask Alex about is, and we'll do this at 4:33, in the history of the Stanley Cup Finals, there have been 15 penalty shots. Only one has been successful.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So what is it? Is it just the insane pressure of the finals? But that's pretty amazing, right? There have been 15 penalty shots in the history of the finals. 14 have been stopped. We had one the other night. We had one in Game 3. That if Vegas had converted it, they would have had a 5-0 lead and would have won the game.
What's the typical success rate?
Well, that's a great question.
Yeah, I wonder what I'd like to know what the typical success rate, because it seems like that's a greater stretch than just like the old baseball postseason thing. Like, well, you're going up against better pitchers, so I mean, you're seeing better pitchers day in and day out. You're seeing better goalies day in and day out when you're in the Stanley Cup. So if you make it to the finals, you probably have an elite goalie, so you're likely to make less in those things. But 1 out of 15 seems like a real low amount.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good question for Gemini, though. What's the normal success rate for a penalty shot in an NHL game for regular season? Let's take a break, and we'll come back and we'll do the Sound of Sports. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Alex Cook, and I'm a project manager with CEC. When people ask why I work at CEC, I tell them it's because we turn visions into reality right here in West Virginia. I point out the roads, parks, and bridges we've developed and the streams we've restored. Then I mention the team, engineers, surveyors, scientists, all working together and the supportive culture we share. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
This boating season, elevate your family time with Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Proudly family-owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Trusted experts in premium boats, motors, and service. Discover refined comfort, elegant design, and performance you can feel. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of preseason savings. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com because the weekend's almost here.
The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program has been a huge success. High school juniors from all across the state have applied, and we're down to 15 finalists. Now, we need your help. Please go to wvmetronews.com and vote for your favorite finalist. By casting your vote, you can help determine who will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan. That includes room, board, tuition, and fees. Just log on to wvmetronews.com, click the Vote Now button, and cast your vote. You have until midnight, June 14th, to help us change the life of a West Virginia student and their family forever. Cast your vote today by clicking the Vote Now button at wvmetronews.com. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar is supported by Greer Industries, the West Virginia Hospital Association, ZMM Architects and Engineers, the West Virginia Farm Bureau, Friends of Coal, and of course, Metro News. Vote now at wvmetronews.com and help us change the life of a West Virginia student forever.
Metro News Hotline, brought to you by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs and 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop. Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com. Join Kyle Wiggs, Coach Hunter, and Brett Howe weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television.
All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get into the sound of sports. We'll start with the baseball. At the state tourney in Huntington, what a wild game between Spring Valley and Ripley. Spring Valley led this game 8-0, but now Ripley has taken the lead with 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. They're still batting. It's 11-9. Ripley leads Spring Valley there in the bottom of the 6th. The Dirty Birds are back home. They'll open a series with High Point tonight. Charleston's been struggling, to put it mildly. They're in last place in the Atlantic League South Division, and they've lost 30 of their first 42 games at the moment. From the big leagues, after being swept over the weekend in Atlanta, the Pirates host the Dodgers tonight, and we'll have Paul Skeens on the mound. Last night in San Diego, the Reds were 6-2 losers to the Padres. In the 7th inning, the Padres put pressure on the Cincy defense with 3 straight sack bunts that the Reds failed to convert into any outs at all as the game turned.
Square. Drop down. Second baseman cover. They both go for the ball. Safe. 3-1. Bunted. Fair to first. Barehand Stewart. No play. Sheets scores. Reds trail 3-2. He squares. And he lays it down. Another pretty good one. Antone bobbles the ball. There's no play. It's 3 straight bunts that get a Padre on.
All right, amazing. So the Reds have lost 5 straight, while the Padres were winners last night for just the 3rd time in their last 14 games. Here's Terry Francona on the bunts and the Reds' 5th straight loss.
Well, on the first one, we're trying to be ultra aggressive, and I don't know, Sal got very aggressive. I don't know if TJ makes that play anyway, where the bunt was. The next one where Sal barehanded it, I thought that was his only play. And I think if he makes it, I think he has a chance to get him out. So that's the right play. it was kind of firm, and it didn't. Then the next one, I think it just kind of sped up on TJ a little bit.
So the Reds' best pitcher, Chase Burns, goes tonight in San Diego. He hasn't allowed more than 2 runs in any of his 9 starts while going 6-0 since April 10th. In Baltimore, the O's dropped the opener of their series with the Mariners 6-3 at Camden Yards. Seattle's Josh Naylor hit a grand slam during a 5-run fifth to do the majority of the damage.
And Josh Naylor, with the bases loaded, is one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball. .343 in his career.
Lifted deep right field. Tavares is looking, and it's gone! A grand slam for Josh Naylor. A 5-1 Mariners lead.
Goal, it took him a little bit to get to Trey Gibson, knocking him out after 68 pitches. They have to turn to that bullpen. And Josh Naylor sitting on that on-deck circle, seeing that sweeper, get that front row seat, and all of a sudden he gets a fastball up in the eyes. Man, he does such a good job on that pitch on the inner half of the plate.
So here's the O's' Craig Albernaz after the loss to the M's last night.
But it's one of those games where you're proud of how they fought, and because every opportunity, like we talked about pregame, like the blows, like we could have easily, our guys could have folded, but they kept on fighting and giving themselves opportunity. It's just that big knock just eluded us, and we hit some balls hard and well that I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't leave the yard.
So Baltimore's lefty Trevor Rogers takes the mound tonight against the Mariners. And in San Francisco, what a nice 9th inning comeback for the Nats in a 4-3 win over the Giants. C.J. Abrams scored a pair with a single to center. Then Dalen Lyle delivered another to put the Nationals in front to stay.
But Abrams in scoring position.
2 outs now for Dalen Lyle.
Swinging a line drive. It's a base hit into right center field. Abrams rounding third. He will score. The Nationals lead. Dalen Lyle delivers. It's 4-3 Nationals. They're going crazy in the first base side dugout. What a rally here in the 9th inning. Abrams ties him with a 2-run single, steals second, and Lyle brings him in to put the Nationals in front.
The Nationals are a different team on the road where they've won 22 of 35 games away from D.C. Left-hander Andrew Alvarez goes for the Nationals tonight as this series with the Giants continues in San Francisco. Let's take a break. We'll come back and wrap the hour in just a moment.
Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
The 2026 High School Baseball State Championship. 4 classes, 4 champions, 1 unforgettable day. From first pitch to final out, the 2026 West Virginia High School Baseball State Championship, presented by Toyota, Saturday, June 13th. Watch live on Metro News Television, Facebook, and YouTube. Available on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
All right, that's going to do it for the first hour of the show. We'll take a break for news here and come back and start out hour number 2, as we always do, with what's happening in the financial markets. And what a crazy day this has been in the markets. We were in a tech free fall earlier in the day. Now the NASDAQ is down about 1%, and the Dow has come all the way back. It is in positive territory as we're about 30 seconds away from the close. We'll take a look at the final numbers, individual related stocks to West Virginia, the energy prices, and crypto too. We'll reset our question of the day, and we'll talk some Steeler football. That's coming up at the start of hour number 2. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hello there. Flooding potential is our focus through Tuesday night. A slight to marginal risk for excessive rain. Not anticipating severe thunderstorms, but Wednesday looking north and east for a marginal risk for large hail and damaging winds. More widespread marginal threat Thursday. Friday, statewide a slight risk. All hazards on the table potentially. This is with the passing cold front. Behind that front, quieter on Saturday. For rainfall, a good inch or more near and east of Charleston. Meanwhile, you go further to the east, those areas not seeing as much action out of this. So this evening, a warm front is to our west, and it will gradually sweep north and northeastward as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Scattered thunderstorms that will be capable of some heavy rains and some localized flooding concerns. That continues into our Wednesday morning. By the later part of the day, some breakup here. Notice we'll have dry periods, but additional storms expected Thursday and again on Friday. FlyCRW forecast starts at home. We'll continue to see some hot and stormy weather in many areas you could travel to, like D.C., Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta. Meanwhile, Charlotte getting hot, but staying quieter. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast. Moundsville once again staying near 70 for a low tonight. 86 there for our Wednesday. Looking to Morgantown for 82. Going east, commonly in mid-60s for lows and upper 80s for our highs on Wednesday with some scattered storms. Elkins 65 tonight. Then a high of 81 here for Wednesday. Looking toward Parkersburg for 86. More commonly mid-60s to low 70s over southern West Virginia, where we'll have highs in low to upper 80s for our Wednesday. The hot and stormy stretch does continue, still on track for Charleston to see 90s for our Thursday and Friday, then quieter over the weekend and cooler next week.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
All right, welcome back to the show. Hour number 2, how do you do? Metro News Hotline, rolling on a Tuesday afternoon in West Virginia. Hey, we're here every weekday afternoon, beginning at 3:06 on the Metro News Radio Network, taking you right up until 6 o'clock. So we're happy to have you. Hashtag 180 Club members know we get started just after 3. But you know what? We'll take you anytime you can tune in and listen to the program. By the way, wherever you're listening to the program, wherever you're checking us out today, inside the state or beyond the borders, just trying to get a read on what's going on back home, we hope you're having a good day. We hope you're having a good day. We got a lot of stuff going on in this particular hour. So let's get at it. We will start with what happened in the financial markets today. We'll reset our question of the day. Dave Bryan from Steeler Depot will be here in just a couple of minutes. You know, there's a little chatter on the NFL Network and other places about Alex Highsmith. Now that Nick Herbig has been signed to a $100 million deal with a guarantee of over $40 million, what's Highsmith's future? Will he be staying with the Steelers? How much would he possibly bring in a trade? And there are a host of teams that are reportedly interested in Highsmith, namely the Niners, the Eagles, the Commanders. We'll talk to Dave Bryan about that, about Highsmith's future and what he might bring in a potential trade if the Steelers decided to go in that direction. That'll come up in a sec. We will also have the entertainment report at 4:25. And Alex Wiederspiel is going to be here at 4:33. We'll talk a little hockey, a little chatter about the Pens, about the pregame for Stanley Cup Finals game number 4 tonight in Vegas. Who's Carolina going to use as the goalie? There's a lot of chatter also. Some other big stories percolating around the NHL. We'll get into that. That'll be at 4:33 today. Later in the hour, and we'll also obviously be keeping you updated on what's going on at the West Virginia High School Baseball Tournament. Metro News is your home for that. We've got AAA quarterfinal games today. Bridgeport has already won their game, and in the middle, well, has this game gone final? I believe it has. Ripley has just defeated Spring Valley final 12-10. So Spring Valley led this game. They led this game 8-0. 8-0 lead and ended up losing the game. Ripley comes storming back late,
and Ripley had to score those runs in the next half inning. They had their back up against the wall. It was really a well scoring game, a high scoring game.
So Ripley put a 4 spot up in the bottom of the 6th inning, and they win and they advance to the semifinals in AAA, 12-10. We got another game. We'll get you set up for that. Coming at 5 o'clock. We'll tell you a little bit about that later. Also, in the back half of this hour, we will open up the On This Date file. 5 o'clock hour today. Steve Wittington is in the 5 o'clock hour today for the first time in a while. So we're going to be talking a little bit about your sports collectibles to kick off the top of the 5. And at 5:30, we've got a Tickets Tuesday coming. We've got 2 tickets left to go see Chicago, the band here in Charleston, on June the 20th. So that is coming up. And if you've never played Tickets Tuesday, we'll open up the phone lines after in or out. At 5:33, you get on the air with me. You pick your category. The categories rotate. The categories today are West Virginia University Baseball and the College World Series, the band Chicago, and the mystery category. You pick the category, you get a multiple-choice question, answer it correctly, and you will win. You'll earn the prize, 2 tickets to go see Chicago. And then more of your responses to our question of the day. So I told you it was busy. So let's go ahead and get started with what happened in the financial markets today. What a crazy day. Crazy day in the markets today. The Dow was down early and then came all the way back. You wouldn't know it was such a crazy day, but it was up 0.2%, gained 86 points, 58.72 at the close. S&P 500 was down 0.25%, losing 19 points today, 73.86. At 4 o'clock Eastern, NASDAQ. Man, NASDAQ was down nearly 4% for a while today. Now, it was still down 1%, losing almost 251 points, but it came back hard in that last hour. NASDAQ closing at 25,678. Among stocks of local interest to West Virginia that were big percentage gainers or losers today, Dow was down 3.3%, lost $1.12, 33.09 at the close. FMC, conversely, up 3.2%, gained 36 cents, 11.46 at the close today. Home Depot, up 3.4%, gained $10.40, 320.11 at the end of today's trading. In the energy space, man, a lot of chatter about what's going on in the Middle East. Oil down 3.2%, lost $2.94. WTI in the NYMEX closed at $88.36. So it's the first time in a while that we've been under 90. Natural gas, relatively unchanged, down 1 cent in current trading, $3.14 per unit at the moment. And what's up with the crypto? I'll tell you what, this bears watching. Crypto, Bitcoin today down 2.2% at the moment, down $1,400, 62,064. So you go back to October, the October high in crypto was 125,000 per coin. So you've had a 50% haircut since then. And with today's close, you're essentially at the February low. So, gold had made a yearly low today. Crypto is falling. The general market still hanging in there. By the way, speaking of that, get beyond the headlines this Thursday at 3:45 here on Hotline. Matt Harris from Huntington Bank will be here. Portfolio managers delivering market analysis, examining the trends behind the scenes, and providing insightful commentary to help your investments work for you. Real expertise, real answers, Money Minutes from Huntington Bank Thursday at 3:45, only on Metro News Hotline. All right, here's our question of the day. Question of the day, speaking of money. New survey reveals that 56% of Americans regularly buy shoes they later regret due to discomfort, wasting an average of $279 on painful footwear that they will never wear. So here's the question of the day, and it's sponsored by Salango Law. What is the most expensive thing sitting in your closet right now that you rarely wear? And why don't you wear it? Once again, the question, what's the most expensive thing sitting in your closet right now that you rarely wear, and why don't you wear it? Text line here, 304-TALK 304, 304-8255-304. I'm on X at Weekly, WEEKLEY. We'll get into that, some of your responses, and they're pretty good a little bit later on in the hour and into the 5 o'clock hour as well. But now, let's talk a little Steeler football. All right. Steeler news goes 24/7. Dave, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Hey, first off, what's your favorite Chicago song of all time? I heard you just talking about them.
25 to 6 to 4 is a pretty good one.
Okay.
I kind of like those longer jams on the first couple of records. I don't even know the names of the songs. I just like hearing the horns.
Being a kid of the 80s, I start with like Chicago, like 15 and 16. Like, give me some Hard Habit to Break or Inspiration or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would probably go with Along Comes the Woman. I think that was on like
that's
Chicago
great.
7,
Yeah, that's a good one,
17 or 19 or something like that. But all right, yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. Steelers winding down their offseason practice program this week. I think they got 2 more practices left this week, and then they'll be shutting it down until training camp.
So I see that Robert Tonyan is joining the Steelers. He's got a history with Aaron Rodgers. How many tight ends do they need, Dave?
I tell you, you look at the contract he signed, it was a minimum veteran benefit contract. Did not move the salary cap needle at all because there was no signing bonus involved. And plus, as you mentioned, got a history with Bryan Angelico and Mike McCarthy and obviously Aaron Rodgers there. You can never be too deep at one position, especially off season when you carry a 91-man roster, because you never know how injuries will impact things moving forward here. So does he have a good chance of making a roster right now? Probably not. But all it takes is for to not have maybe one guy, Freiermuth or Darnell Washington, maybe at the start of the season for maybe some sort of dinged up injury or whatnot. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But you can never have too many experienced guys. And I think the hidden factor in this is he knows the offense, and a lot of those younger guys on the team, that will benefit them. And I think Robert Tonyan can help in kind of teaching and getting those guys in the right spot at this crucial time of the offseason here. So I like the signing, not a lot involved in it. And, we'll just have to wait to see if he can do enough to make the 53-man roster.
So let me ask you this. In this new Mike McCarthy offense, reuniting with Aaron Rodgers, do you anticipate we're going to see many offensive sets where we're going to see Freiermuth and Washington in there at the same time?
I still think there's an opportunity for this team to run about 20 to 25% of what they call either 12 or 22 personnel, where they have 2 tight ends on the field. Now, predominantly Mike McCarthy is a 3 wide receiver, 11 personnel type outfit there.
Right.
But here's the thing. You can interchange Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington, or Darnell Washington's obviously the better run blocker. So I still think even on the heels of giving, they just signed Darnell Washington to this extension with $42 million in new money, $10.5 million new money average overall there. I think there's still an opportunity for him to play quite a few snaps and maybe get Pat Freiermuth off the field and keep him healthy in the process there. And, I think they are interchangeable. And I think probably if everybody stays healthy, I think you can see 20 to 25% of the offensive snaps have 2 tight ends on the field.
All right, I want to ask you, there's a little bit of rumbling in the 49er media about Alex Highsmith as a potential trade target. And, I'm seeing names like the Bills and the Eagles and the Commanders and, of course, the Niners being associated with Highsmith. What do you think about this? Do you think Highsmith could be on the way out of town? What would be a legitimate return for him if the Steelers wanted to trade Alex Highsmith?
All right. First and foremost, my gut is that he will not be on the move this offseason. However, I would like to also go back and look at last season when it comes to these edge rushers, talking about T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig. Each one of those guys had injuries throughout the year. There were only 8 games in total last season that all three of those guys were active at the same time for a game. And in other words, did not miss the game due to injury. So that's half the games right there that you were missing at least one of them due to an injury. Now, we know Watts was kind of a freak thing with that needle. And then obviously Highsmith had some soft tissue injuries. And then Herbig early in the season, I think, had a hamstring there. You can never have too much depth. And even though Jack Sawyer last year looked like he was coming along pretty good as a rookie, I think you need a little bit more experience out of him before you would think that he's a good, solid number 3 there. Highsmith is one of the best, at least in pressure percentages last year as far as the outside linebackers go, and that's not taking anything away from Watt or Herbig. Just Highsmith had a higher percentage overall of pressures. He got off the ball good. He plays the run well. For me to consider a trade, assuming that the Steelers were open to trading him, to me, it feels like I'd have to have at least a second-round pick, Dave, because if I'm going to dump my depth at the outside linebacker position, a third-round draft pick just isn't going to do it for me. Now, I know a lot of people are making a big deal about late last week, Highsmith, being out sick for a practice on the day after Herbig signed his deal. Highsmith was back on Monday for the voluntary practice, so I think all that's a little bit overblown there. I don't take Highsmith as a guy that's going to get his feelings really hurt because now technically Herbig's making more money with him. Now it will be a challenge for Patrick Graham to get all three of those linebackers on the field, a good amount, because they all three are making big money. But the Steelers are able to afford this from both a cap and a cash perspective there. Yeah, they're right up against the cap now after giving Herbig and Washington their deals. But, they still could restructure the contract of DK Metcalf or somebody else as we move into the offseason, and it'll be just fine come the start of the regular season when it comes to cap money. So I would be, unless Highsmith makes a big stink about maybe wanting to get out of there, my gut tells me he won't be moved, but if he were to get moved, man, I sure hope the Steelers get at least a second-round pick for him.
I agree with all of that. Man, it's a long season, and Watt and Highsmith have both missed games. I have no problem with keeping all three of these guys. I just think it's interesting that some of these other teams, or at least the media surrounding some of these other teams, are sort of circling the Steelers' rush ends because they think somebody's going to be on the move. All right, I got a couple of minutes here, but I did want to ask you, and we might as well talk about rush ends. I don't have to tell you, Watt's sack numbers are way down. And there's been chatter now that you got a new coaching staff that he's finally – they've talked about this in the past, about moving him to different places along the line instead of that one position where he always lines up. Are you buying that? That Watt is going to be moving around in different positions on the defensive line this season?
I tell you, if you go back and you re-listen to what Watt had to say last week, and that was one of his better press conferences. Usually a grizzled veteran like Watt, who really hasn't had much to say throughout his career, he really seemed upbeat and, at least for an OTA practice or a mandatory minicamp practice, real forthcoming and really excited to be there. He did mention specifically, he's probably his own stubbornness in the past. He's wanted to stay on that left side overall, but I think he made it clear that in Patrick Graham's scheme, they're going to have to be a lot more position flexible, and I think you're going to see those three outside linebackers on the field more than last year. We went back and counted, Dave, only 37 plays last year, I think, was the total that the Steelers had Herbig, Highsmith, and Watt all on the field at the same time. Now, obviously, once again, eight of those games, at least one of those guys missed, so that kind of cut into it right there. But it kind of feels like we need to see them hit around 100 snaps, depending on down, distance, game situation, where we see all three of them out there. And we barely saw Watt move around last year, but I think you're going to see that a little bit more this year. I think you'll see Watt in the middle of the formation, try to rush from there. You want to get your best guy on maybe where the weakness of the offensive line is, and the best way to do that is to move potentially TJ Watt around. I think you'll see him a little on the right right side. That's traditionally been Highsmith's side, but there's one thing that we know about Herbig and Highsmith. Those guys can play on the opposite sides as well, too. So I don't think it was just lip service from TJ Watt last year. Now, do I think it's going to be a ton? Are we talking about 40% of the snaps Watt moving around? No, I don't think so, but I think you'll see it definitely more than we've seen it the last several years there. And I think on top of it, I think we should look forward to all three of those linebackers being on the field more than 37 defensive snaps last year.
All right, got to leave it there. Hey, Dave, thanks for jumping on with us. We'll talk more Steeler football next week at this time. Thanks for hopping on, and I'll see you then.
All right, Dave, you're a hard habit to break. Talk to you next week.
Nicely played. Well played, sir. All right, let's take a break. The Entertainment Report is coming next.
The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program has been a huge success. High school juniors from all across the state have applied, and we're down to 15 finalists. Now, we need your help. Please go to wvmetronews.com and vote for your favorite finalist. By casting your vote, you can help determine who will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan. That includes room, board, tuition, and fees. Just log on to wvmetronews.com, click the Vote Now button, and cast your vote. You have until midnight, June 14th, to help us change the life of a West Virginia student and their family forever. Cast your vote today by clicking the Vote Now button at wvmetronews.com. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar is supported by Greer Industries, the West Virginia Hospital Association, ZMM Architects and Engineers, the West Virginia Farm Bureau, Friends of Coal, and of course, Metro News. Vote now at wvmetronews.com and help us change the life of a West Virginia student forever.
Don't forget about our podcast. Check out your favorite podcast provider or simply go to wvmetronews.com and click on the podcast link. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
On the next State of Minds.
There's this big power plant that looks like it's going right on top of Davis, and I think everyone was asking the same question, why? We have a rural character, outdoor character, wild character of our county, and we would be kind of putting in this utilities size industrial landscape, and I think it would change the character of our county.
Tonight was Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the San Antonio Spurs and the New York Knicks. Heading into tonight, the Knicks have won 13 games in a row. The city is totally united behind the team. Even the muggers are like, give me your wallet and a high five. I mean, yeah.
Well, how did that work out? Didn't quite work out last night, did it? All right, we'll take a break here at the bottom of the hour, and we'll talk some hockey when we come back. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hello there. Flooding potential is our focus through Tuesday night. A slight to marginal risk for excessive rain. Not anticipating severe thunderstorms, but Wednesday looking north and east for a marginal risk for large hail and damaging winds. More widespread marginal threat Thursday. Friday, statewide a slight risk. All hazards on the table potentially. This is with the passing cold front. Behind that front, quieter on Saturday. For rainfall, a good inch or more near and east of Charleston. Meanwhile, you go further to the east, those areas not seeing as much action out of this. So this evening, a warm front is to our west, and it will gradually sweep north and northeastward as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Scattered thunderstorms that will be capable of some heavy rains and some localized flooding concerns. That continues into our Wednesday morning. By the later part of the day, some breakup here. Notice we'll have dry periods, but additional storms expected Thursday and again on Friday. FlyCRW forecast starts at home. We'll continue to see some hot and stormy weather in many areas you could travel to, like D.C., Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta. Meanwhile, Charlotte getting hot, but staying quieter. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast. Moundsville once again staying near 70 for a low tonight. 86 there for our Wednesday. Looking to Morgantown for 82. Going east, commonly in mid-60s for lows and upper 80s for our highs on Wednesday with some scattered storms. Elkins 65 tonight. Then a high of 81 here for Wednesday. Looking toward Parkersburg for 86. More commonly mid-60s to low 70s over southern West Virginia, where we'll have highs in low to upper 80s for our Wednesday. The hot and stormy stretch does continue, still on track for Charleston to see 90s for our Thursday and Friday, then quieter over the weekend and cooler next week.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
The 2026 High School Baseball State Championship. 4 classes, 4 champions, 1 unforgettable day. From first pitch to final out, the 2026 West Virginia High School Baseball State Championship, presented by Toyota, Saturday, June 13th. Watch live on Metro News Television, Facebook, and YouTube. Available on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop. Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com. Join Kyle Wiggs, Coach Hunter, and Brad Howe weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television.
All right, welcome back. We're going to talk some hockey in a moment with Alex Wiederspiel, our Metro News hockey insider, in preparation for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight in Las Vegas as the Carolina Hurricanes look to even this series. They don't want to go down 3-0 to Vegas, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Also get a little Pens talk as well. But let me do a quick reset on our question of the day. New survey reveals that 56% of Americans regularly buy shoes they later regret due to discomfort, wasting an average of $279 on painful footwear they rarely wear. So the question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law, what's the most expensive thing sitting in your closet right now that you've rarely worn? And why don't you wear it? Why don't you wear it? What's the most expensive thing sitting in your closet right now that you've rarely worn, and why don't you wear it? To respond, text those in, 304-TALK, 304 304-8255-304. I'm on Exit Weekly, WEEKLEY. One word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. Quick note on the West Virginia High School Baseball Tournament. Metro News is your home for that. We got the AAA quarterfinals today. We had a couple of great games. Bridgeport walked it off earlier today against East Fairmont. The Bees were 3 outs away from advancing, and the Indians came storming back with a pair of runs in the 7th inning. And then Spring Valley jumped out to an 8-0 lead on Ripley, and then the Vikings put 4 runs up in the 7th and ended up winning that game 12-10. So the St. Albans game, which is coming at 5 o'clock, has now been pushed back just 5 minutes. We're looking for the first pitch at 5:05. Locally here in Charleston, you can hear the game on ESPN Charleston. And if you're not in the Valley, obviously the website, WVMetroNews.com, has got it. And there's tons of game stories, brackets, everything you need to know about the state baseball tournament. It's at the website, WVMetroNews.com. All right, Alex Wiederspiel, our Metro News hockey insider, joins me now. Alex, how are you doing today? We got a lot of hockey stuff to talk about. Lots of stuff to go over.
Good win for Bridgeport, though, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice comeback.
No doubt. You know, Coop and I were talking about this a little bit in the 3 o'clock hour. In terms of the Stanley Cup Finals, the first 3 games have been sensational. Game 3 with the unbelievable comeback by the Hurricanes, where they got 3 goals in the space of a minute and then banged in one at the end of the third period of forced double overtime before Vegas came back. There's some discussion that to this point, this may be one of the greatest finals ever in Stanley Cup Finals history. Do you agree with that? And what elements need to be in a series to make it considered great?
So I certainly agree that it's been a great series. I think anytime we get into that conversation about greatest ever, I remind folks that there is not one person alive who has seen every Stanley Cup final. So I think following in the model of, say, a publication like The Athletic, I tend to try to look everything in sort of a post-expansion era after the original 6, because I really think the game is just completely different over the course of these last 50, 60 years anyway. And then on top of the fact that there went from being 6 teams in the league to 12 to 21, and then eventually now here we are at 32. I would always caution, and I'm going to be the party pooper here, about greatest ever. It's been a phenomenal series, though, and I encourage folks to check it out. Multi-goal leads blown in all 3 games, and what happened in the third period of the last 2 games, I just have never seen, I really haven't seen anything like it at a stage like this, because that felt more like basketball than hockey.
All right, so if you're Rod Brindamore, the coach of Carolina, who's your goalie tonight? What factors are going into the decision on who is going to be between the pipes for this critical game on the road against the Knights?
I think he's going to go with Freddie Anderson, but I would go with Brandon Bussey for a couple of reasons. I think Freddie's the better goalie, but I wonder if, with all the hockey that he's played in the postseason and not having played as much in the regular season, I do wonder a little bit about his conditioning at this point. and I wonder if he might need a little bit of extra time off. He also took a maintenance day yesterday. He took a pretty good hit on the goalie interference call that took away one of Vegas's 2 goals the other night. So I think he's also battling something. So I would rather, because this is my personal opinion, I think much like pitching in Major League Baseball, I can't imagine a position as difficult to battle through while injured as NHL goaltender, because the margin for error is so small that if you're battling an injury, I see it as unlikely that you can really provide 100% of yourself. And sometimes just being able to provide 90% of yourself in goal is going to be nowhere near enough. So I'm not a huge Bussy guy. He really had a hot start, but didn't play very well down the stretch. But I would say for one game on the road, maybe give Freddie a little extra time off. And the fact that Bussy played as well as he did in the back half of game number 3, I think gives you a little bit of pause to say maybe Vegas doesn't quite know how to figure this goalie out yet. Let's see if we can get a spark out of this.
All right, so how deflating was that loss for Carolina in Game 3 after that amazing comeback in the third period? Will there be a residual effect in tonight's Game 4?
I don't think so. I don't think it's as deflating as it would have been for Vegas. I think the real loss for Carolina is that I think they could have stolen the series in that game, right? So Vegas leads 4-0. They are playing exceptionally well. And it was even going into the start of the third period, they still came out and they were playing really, really well. They were all over Carolina. I believe by the final tally, they had more goals in the second period than Carolina had shots. And that carried over into the start of the third. And it just seemed like everything changed when Mitch Marner didn't score his 4th of the night on that penalty shot. And the whole momentum shifts. And then you get a couple of funky looking goals for Carolina. And they just kept playing and kept skating. And I don't recall seeing a John Tortorella team ever really play a third period that way before, where they weren't finishing the job. They made a couple of pretty egregious mistakes on those goals in question. So I think the bigger loss for Carolina is that they really could have put a tremendous amount of pressure on Vegas. They still have an opportunity to get back home with the series tied at 2 and then turn it into a best of 3 with them having home ice advantage. So I wouldn't feel as deflated about the loss as I would about the opportunity that was missed to really put the screws to Vegas.
I'm so glad you brought up that Marner penalty shot, because Coop and I were talking about that just briefly in the 3 o'clock hour, where in the history of the finals, there's only been one made penalty shot in 15 total attempts. We were looking at some of the numbers. The success rate for penalty shots is somewhere between 32 and 34%. Do you think that 1 in 15 in the finals is just, a small sample size, or it's additional pressure? Why do you think more penalty shots haven't been converted?
I do think it's a little bit of additional pressure. I also think, this series is a bit abnormal, right? When we think about the goaltending in this Stanley Cup Finals, most years you have at least one either elite or red hot goaltender going into this one. Now, the red hot goaltender was both of these guys. They have pretty much shown that that has not continued and that is not carried over. But you usually have one guy playing really, really well, right? And that hasn't been the case in this one. I think that's probably why that number is as low as it is. And there is definitely some added extra pressure there. I think you're right, though. The low sample size has a little bit to do with it as well. It's such a rare occurrence.
Okay, a couple of just other hockey items about stuff that's not related to this series. What do you make of this Dylan Larkin trade demand away from the Red Wings, and who's got the capital to get him?
It's a tough question. The second question's tough, so I'm going to skip that one for now. The first question about just the demand in general, what an indictment of where Detroit has fallen. So this is, of course, an Original Six team, an Original Six market. It's a rabid fan base. They are ready to support this team, and twice in the last 3 years, they've had historic collapses that have kept them out of the playoffs. Keep in mind right now, with 10 consecutive years outside the playoffs after being in the playoffs for 25 straight years previously, the Red Wings now hold the record for the longest playoff drought among Original Six franchises. And the concern is, if this keeps going and Larkin goes the other way, this could get even longer. We could be removing that Original Six qualifier as well. As far as who is the capital, it's tough, right? Because I think the teams with the most capital are places he's not necessarily going to be interested in going. But I think the Utah Mammoth, from a capital perspective, they have a ton that they could offer in a trade like this, but he's not reportedly on that initial list of 3 teams that he's interested in going.
What's your take on this story about Peter Laviolette being back into the league, and what's his connection to the Nailers?
I think it's a great hire. So I thought Laviolette did a phenomenal job with the New York Rangers, leading them to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 seasons ago. I do not think he was the reason that things fell apart there last year. He didn't do enough to stem the tide there, but I do think he did okay. Peter Laviolette, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he is a coach of the Wheeling Nailers. You have to go way back, though.
Right.
Yeah, he began his coaching career with the Wheeling Nailers. I'm going back to the late 90s, and he was pretty good there. He won, 37 out of 70 games, took the Nailers to the playoffs, but I like the hire for the Kings. Laviolette kind of has an interesting rap as a guy who generally suppresses offense, but if you look at the way he plays, he likes his defensemen activating and getting into the offensive play, and if he has athletic defensemen, his players can put up some points.
Hey, finally, before the announcement of the Jack Adams Award that goes to the Coach of the Year, you and I were talking about Dan Muse and what a good job he did with the Pens. He was one of the 3 finalists, along with Brendan Moore at Carolina and Lindy Ruff in Buffalo. And John Cooper with the Lightning, and he won the award finally. Does Muse have a beef?
No, and here's why. Well, he does have a beef, but not at John Cooper. Here's the deal with John Cooper. This was a phenomenal year for Tampa Bay. They were missing their number 1 and number 2 defensemen for huge portions of the season. Victor Hedman missed 49 games. Ryan McDonough missed 34 games. And they were without their number 1 center for a huge portion of the season, missed 19 games as well. Most of the time, when you're down your number 1 center and your top 2 defensemen, you are going to have issues. And Tampa, not only did they not miss a beat, but it's not like they were carried by elite goaltending. They were second best in the NHL in high danger chances against per 60 minutes, behind only the Vegas Golden Knights during the regular season. So yeah, Andrei Vasilevsky just won the Vezina Trophy, the goaltender for the Lightning, but a lot of that had to do with what Tampa did in front of him. So huge kudos to John Cooper, who found a way to keep that defensive structure afloat, even while missing his 3 most important players for huge stretches. Here's Dan Muse's beef, though, who had an absolute claim to this award. 40 broadcasters, as I understand it, didn't even turn in their ballots.
Wow.
This is an award voted by the broadcasters, and I'm sorry, but that is an abdication of responsibility. You got to turn in your ballot. It's a huge issue. And this was a super narrow race, right? So any one of those ballots could have made the difference.
Wow, that's a legitimate beef he's got. Well, can you imagine what's going to happen in hockey before we talk again next Tuesday? I mean,
we might be on the eve of Game 7 if we're lucky.
I know, that's true. Alex, thanks for jumping on with us to talk a little hockey. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Alex Wiederspiel. And don't forget his Locked On YouTube channel, Locked On NHL Game Night. They recap the games, and they post about a half an hour after the conclusion of the game. So look for their post tonight sometime around midnight. All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be time to open up the On This Date file. Stay tuned.
The stock market, economy, tariffs, interest rates. We hear a lot about these topics. But what does it all mean for you as you plan for your future? Join us on Thursday for Money Minutes at 3:45 on Hotline as Huntington Bank's local wealth team cuts through the noise and shares how market conditions are impacting us right here in West Virginia. I'm Matt Harris, a member of the local Huntington Bank wealth team. I invite you to catch Money Minutes Thursday on Hotline for insight that will help you navigate your financial future.
Hi, I'm Alex Cook, and I'm a project manager with CEC. When people ask why I work at CEC, I tell them it's because we turn visions into reality right here in West Virginia. I point out the roads, parks, and bridges we've developed and the streams we've restored. Then I mention the team, engineers, surveyors, scientists, all working together and the supportive culture we share. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
The 2026 High School Baseball State Championship. 4 classes, 4 champions, 1 unforgettable day. From first pitch to final out, the 2026 West Virginia High School Baseball State Championship, presented by Toyota, Saturday, June 13th. Watch live on Metro News Television, Facebook, and YouTube. Available on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
All right, welcome back. Time to crack open the On This Date file, and we'll start with the birthdays, and we'll start with the sports birthdays. Some pretty interesting ones today. How about Dick Vitale? Dick Vitale, been through a lot, still working at ESPN. At the worldwide leader from the very beginning. He's 86 years old today. Teddy Bruschi of the Patriots, also of ESPN, 53 years old today. One of my favorite NBA players of all time, Peja Stojakovic, having a birthday today. Multiple All-Star. He's 49. Of course, his son, a breakout star with the Illini that went to the Final Four this year. Udonis Haslem, 20 years with the Miami Heat. Now in the Heat front office. He's 46 years old today. From entertainment, Michael J. Fox is 65. Natalie Portman having a birthday today. She is 45 years old. Birth anniversaries today. The Cobra, Dave Parker, was born on this date in 1951. 7-time All-Star, World Series with the Pirates, played for the Reds, played for Oakland. He was born in Grenada, Mississippi. Died at the age of 74. We lost him at the end of June last year. Bill Verdon from the Pirates. He also was born in this date in 1931. He died in November of 2021 at the age of 90. Beth Bonner. Beth Bonner is from Preston County. She was the first woman to ever run a marathon in under 3 hours. She was the first women's winner of the New York Marathon in 1971. She died tragically too early in 1998 at the age of 46 when she was hit by a truck while she was running. And Les Paul, the father of the full-body electric guitar, was born in this state in 1915. He died in August of 2009 at the age of 94. Here he is with David Letterman in 1986. Les Paul, the father of the solid body electric guitar, born in this state in 1915. From the movies on this date, 1989, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier premieres in America.
On a desolate planet, a renegade Vulcan seeks ultimate knowledge.
To find it, you'll need a starship.
And he will stop at nothing to get it.
I dreamt that a madman had taken over the Enterprise.
You look like you've just seen a ghost.
Perhaps I have, Captain. Our destination is the planet Shakari, Eden, at the center of the galaxy.
The center of the galaxy can't be reached.
If you ask me, and you haven't, I think this is a terrible idea. We're bound to bump into the Klingons.
Oh, you think? Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, released on this date in 1989. And on this date in 1973, Secretariat becomes horse racing's first Triple Crown winner in 25 years by dominating the Belmont Stakes.
They're in the stretch. Secretariat has opened a 22-length lead. He is going to be the Triple Crown winner. Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An unbelievable, an amazing performance. He hits the finish 25 lengths in front. It's going to be twice a first second. My Gallant third. Private Smiles fourth. And Sam, who had it today, dropped back to fifth. An amazing, unbelievable performance by this miracle horse. And look at Mrs. Sweetie. She's having the time of her life. She and Lucian Lawrence, who own this most magnificent animal, who has today run the most sensational Belmont Stakes in the history of this race. Secretariat has accomplished the unbelievable task of breaking the 1.5 mile record by 2 3/5 seconds. That is a record that may stand forever.
And it is still standing, Secretariat's record for the 1.5 mile on dirt. Musical birthday to the break today. Johnny Depp, 63 years old. The 5 things to know at 5 o'clock in sports are coming up next.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the next State of Minds.
There's this big power plant that looks like it's going right on top of Davis. And I think everyone was asking the same question, why? We have a rural character, outdoor character, wild character of our county. And we would be kind of putting in this utilities size industrial landscape. And I think it would change the character of our county.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Sports headlines at 5 o'clock. Winners at the state baseball tournament in Huntington today included Bridgeport and Ripley. St. Albans and John Marshall getting ready to start in AAA quarterfinal action. And the Dirty Birds are back home tonight, hosting High Point here in Charleston. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hello there. Flooding potential is our focus through Tuesday night. A slight to marginal risk for excessive rain. Not anticipating severe thunderstorms, but Wednesday looking north and east for a marginal risk for large hail and damaging winds. More widespread marginal threat Thursday. Friday, statewide a slight risk. All hazards on the table potentially. This is with a passing cold front. Behind that front, quieter on Saturday. For rainfall, a good inch or more near and east of Charleston. Meanwhile, you go further to the east, those areas not seeing as much action out of this. So this evening, a warm front is to our west, and it will gradually sweep north and northeastward as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Scattered thunderstorms that will be capable of some heavy rains and some localized flooding concerns. That continues into our Wednesday morning. By the later part of the day, some break up here. Notice we'll have dry periods, but additional storms expected Thursday and again on Friday. FlyCRW forecast starts at home. We'll continue to see some hot and stormy weather in many areas you can travel to, like D.C., Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta. Meanwhile, Charlotte getting hot but staying quieter. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast. Moundsville once again staying near 70 for a low tonight. 86 there for our Wednesday. Looking to Morgantown for 82. Going east, commonly in mid-60s for lows and upper 80s for our highs on Wednesday with some scattered storms. Elkins 65 tonight. Then a high of 81 here for Wednesday. Looking toward Parkersburg for 86. More commonly mid-60s to low 70s over southern West Virginia, where we'll have highs in low to upper 80s for our Wednesday. The hot and stormy stretch does continue, still on track for Charleston to see 90s for our Thursday and Friday, then quieter over the weekend and cooler next week.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
All right, welcome back. 5:06 in West Virginia. Time to start the third and final hour of our program today, Metro News Hotline. Thanks so much for tuning in today, folks. I really do appreciate it. Hey, if you just tuned in, where you been? No, I know what it's like. You've been in the office, you're leaving the factory, you've got your kids in the car. Maybe you don't have your kids in the car, but you're just in the car. Hey, I know what it's like. Just want to make you aware that we've been going for a couple of hours today. We get going at 3:06 every weekday afternoon here on the Metro News Radio Network. And if you missed any of the show, well, you can always double back and check out the podcast. It's available at the website, wvmetronews.com. Our show and all the other shows on the network are at the website. And listen, this is a great time to check out the website if you haven't been there in a while, because there's tons of West Virginia high school baseball-related things going on at the website right now. Starting a little late, 5 o'clock scheduled start time. Now underway, St. Albans and John Marshall. This will be the third Class AAA quarterfinal game of the day. We already had a couple of doozies, right? Bridgeport walked it off against Fairmont East earlier today, 3-2. And Ripley spotted Spring Valley an 8-0 lead, and then the Vikings came roaring back to win that game 12-2. You can check out all that action at the website, wvmetronews.com. For those of you who are watching on YouTube or Facebook Live or checking out the video stream in the app for Metro News Television, how you doing? You're watching me live right now. We got a lot of stuff to get into in this particular hour. We will reset our question of the day. You know, Steve Wittington from Select Cards and Collectibles is going to join me here in just a matter of seconds. So, you know, we like to have those guys on twice a month to talk about your sports collectibles. It's a booming industry, and it's getting even larger. And we're in the middle of the NBA Finals. The World Cup begins literally in a matter of hours. In just a couple of days, Major League Baseball, the NFL, exploding interest in college sports. So if you got any questions about your sports collectibles, stuff you want to buy, stuff you want to sell, stuff you want to insure, things that are coming up, send me a text on that. 304-TALK 304, 304-8255 304. I'm on Exit Weekly, WEEKLEY. And don't forget, coming up at 5:33 today, we've got a Tickets Tuesday. And on the line today, 2 tickets. We believe these will be the final 2 tickets we have for the band Chicago here in Charleston. That'll be coming up at the Convention Center on June the 20th. So that show is just a little over a week away. Now, if you've never listened to a Tickets Tuesday or participated in the game, here's how it works. We will play in or out. That'll be at 5:25. Once that's concluded, the phone line will be open. Now, check this out. The phone number here is a little different than the text line. 800-765-8255. 800-765-8255. You get on the air with me, you pick your category. The categories rotate. Today's categories are as follows: WVU and the College World Series, the band Chicago, and the mystery category. The mystery category's answer is something that has already been revealed on today's show. So if you've been listening, you've already heard the answer to the mystery category. You select your category, you get the multiple choice question, answer it correctly, and we're going to hook you up for 2 tickets to go see Chicago here in Charleston. And if Coop, once again, I stress, for the person who wins, congratulations. But for the people who are on hold, please stay there. Don't bail. I take it personally that you don't want to talk to me. And there's also the personal pride. And this, Coop, you've got some skin in the game too, because if the people stay on the line, that means that you won't have to be, you won't have to endure the questions that don't aren't part of the game before the winner is revealed.
Yeah, that's true enough.
So,
always good if I don't have to try to answer trivia.
So that'll be coming up. That'll be in about 25 minutes. All right, question of the day. And we've had a bunch of responses to it. A new survey reveals that 56% of Americans regularly buy shoes they later regret due to discomfort, wasting an average of $279 on painful footwear that they never wear. So here's the question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. What is the most expensive thing sitting in your closet right now that you rarely wear? And why don't you wear it? What's the most expensive thing sitting in your closet right now that you rarely wear, and why don't you wear it? The text line, I just gave them, 304-TALK 304, 304-8255 304. Shoot me a response on X. I love reading that stuff at Weekly, WEEKLEY. A couple of quick ones, and then we'll get to Steve Wittington. Jennings says, Dave, I've got a leather Steeler jacket that my parents got me for Christmas 30 years ago. I haven't worn it much since 2000, but I still have it in the closet. Rick in Salem had this. Dave, I got about 100 Harley-Davidson T-shirts that I outgrew. They were purchased for about $35 each over time. Oh, man. I know. You can't bring yourself to get rid of those. I got you. I understand. Jody says, Dave, my wife and daughter bought me Italian dress shoes while on a trip there 2 to 3 years ago. They are beautiful. They have never touched the ground. Never touched the ground in West Virginia. I love those stories. And we got a few text messages about this as well. So we'll get into that in a minute. Steve Wittington from Select Cards and Collectibles in downtown Charleston joins me now to talk about your sports collectibles. Steve, how you doing today?
Doing great, Dave. How are you guys doing?
Hey, man, thanks for coming on the show. All right, let's talk about Wemby first of all, okay? Can we start there?
Let's start with Wemby.
All right, so Wemby has shattered modern collecting records, making his rarest cards some of the most expensive pieces of sports memorabilia in history. In fact, he has got the most expensive non-autographed card ever sold, a $5.1 million card, a 2023 Panini Prism Black rookie card that was a PSA 10. So, I think for most of my listeners, I'm just going to go ahead and assume this, that they are out of the range of that card. But can you give us any advice on how to collect Wemby, or is it just too late?
It's not too late as far as, you can't get anything in the next month or two, regardless of how the finals go. Even if they lose, his stuff's still going to be so high. As the summer goes on, his stuff will start to drop before basketball season picks up in November, and you can pick things up. A little late to the game on Wemby, but, with players like him, it's all about the ceiling, and I think we saw in the Minnesota series, he's got a pretty darn high ceiling, so that's what they're chasing. They're chasing a guy that's a generational talent. He just looked better than everybody else at times, and he's at his age. I think that's why they're investing in him.
So what's the best way to go? I mean, to try to buy an individual Wemby card, or just roll the dice and buy individual packs?
I'm a go straight for the card guy. I don't gamble much as other people do on packs, but find something in your price range. Have your expectations of what it's going to be worth 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now when he retires. So if you want, a card to be worth $1,000, you might want to target a $50 card now. If you want a card to be worth $10,000, you might have to, buy a $300 or $400 Wemby now and hope that he continues to do what he does. So have expectations on your dollar value.
So, Wemby is already wildly collectible. How much would his value be impacted if he does win an MVP, or the Spurs come back and win this NBA title?
I don't know how much higher it can get. And we've had these conversations a few years ago with Ohtani and some other players. Right now, his stuff, when he had his big game against Minnesota, his stuff doubled overnight. You're talking doubling is a pretty big deal in sports cards. It happens over time, but not overnight. Cards that were selling for $100, Stout and I were seeing selling for $200 the following night, and it was just unbelievable. And there was math. It wasn't one auction or one card. It was everything had doubled in one night. So it's hard to believe what could happen if they win it.
You know what? I was looking at some data earlier today from Dick's Sporting Goods. They just announced their earnings for the last quarter, and one of the areas where they're seeing a lot of growth is they're selling memorabilia, they're selling cards. You've been in the card business. I don't really. Do you feel like you're in competition with those big box stores? Because I kind of feel like you're not. You can get a lot more personal service if I go to Select.
This has always been the take for most card shops, and including our shop. The more shops, the better for us. When people travel to an area, they hit all the card shops. When people buy packs that just get the fire lit in them, that they want to buy more stuff and go after memorabilia, I say the more the merrier. And to be honest with you, we can't sustain the level of finances in the country right now with the card collecting. I sent you something about $670 million in 1 month. You think how much has to be sold to hit that metric in 1 month? We can't. These local card shops can't compete. It has to be card shows, eBay, everything to keep that momentum going. And it's been, it's set records for probably 12 or 14 consecutive months now. It's hard to tell what next month will be even higher because of the Nationals. It'll be the highest month. It could be $700-800 million in July.
Hey, you and I have done a lot of segments about this particular topic, and I've never asked you a question about. Oh, by the way, we've got a couple of listener questions here for you too. But I wanted to ask you this. There's a story out there. I guess it started in The Athletic that Pat McAfee is negotiating a new deal with ESPN that's going to pay him a mind-bending potential $60 million a year, right? Over $1 million a week. So it got me thinking, are there any sports announcer stuff that is collectible or valuable? Do you want McAfee's autograph?
You do. In a short answer, absolutely. You have to look at, there's always their mainstream guys in sports that not only the athlete, well, technically we'll say athletes for right now, and we'll come right back to it. And then you have the obscure autographs, the Adam Vinatieri's of the world that only had 1 or 2 autograph cards, the Jimmy Johnsons of football, coached Cowboy, that only had 3 or 4 ever issued autographs. They were all limited, and the price went through the roof. McAfee never had very many autographs. He did not have a lot of stuff out there. He's obviously super popular, so he's highly collectible. And then when you throw in the sportscaster version, the card collecting companies have always done subsets with autographs. I've got autographs of Chris Berman and people like that from 15, 20 years ago. They don't sign anymore hardly. They might sign a little bit through the mail. for the most part, a lot of ESPN, Dan Patrick's had autographs. I mean, they've also done a lot of celebrity autographs that were fans. You know, there was a bunch of subsets like Dodger fans. There were a bunch of LA people, celebrities, actors, actresses that they were Dodger fans and they had a Dodger card in their, you know, sign. That stuff's always been hugely collectible because it's so limited. Just like McAfee stuff, he just doesn't have much stuff out there.
And I haven't researched this, but I'm guessing that Howard Cosell is probably pretty collectible.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure. I mean, anything, you know, any celebrity's collectible, and they'll throw their autograph on anything. There's a lot of pop culture that became, you know, hugely popular in sports collecting. Card companies love to throw those subsets in there because it gives them a higher checklist. When you've got, you know, you're using the same amount of card or people, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever, you can only, every year it's the same autograph. So if you do a subset with announcers from the stadium, you know, the Toast Man, you know, he had his own card. It was a subset because it was something that brought more people in to chase something because you're going outside the norm of all the players that you normally see.
Hey,
so it's always been huge.
Let me get one quick question from a listener in here before we have to wrap this up. 304-955. How much is a Michael Jordan rookie baseball card worth? And this listener is your old press box buddy Grant. He just wanted to say hello.
Oh, I know Grant very well. He called the Buffalo soccer games with me.
There you go. So what about a Michael Jordan rookie baseball card?
It depends because he had 5 or 6 of them. So he had a star rookie and upper deck. I'm assuming the most popular one was probably the upper deck where he's in the White Sox uniform and he's catching the ball up above his head. That card's probably $50 to $80 raw before it gets graded. If it gets graded, you know, those were pretty temperamental to condition because there was a lot of holograms on them and things from the upper deck logos. If that's the card he's talking about. Any Jordan card, obviously, it's worth quite a bit of money. And anything, a baseball rookie would have been, there was 4 or 5 different versions you could have had in there. So they're all pretty highly collectible.
All right, got to leave it there. Steve, thanks for jumping on with us. I'll talk to you next month.
All right, see you, Dave.
Steve Wittington from Select Cards and Collectibles, downtown Charleston. Here's a break, and we'll come back and play In or Out in just a moment.
There's a lot of noise out there about the market and the economy, but what's really important to you and your future? I'm Shelley Hustle, a member of Huntington Bank's local wealth team right here in West Virginia. Join us for Money Minutes this Thursday at 3:45 on Hotline as we discuss the most important topics and what they mean for you, your family, and your business. Join us on Thursday for Money Minutes, providing insight into the market and how it will impact us right here at home.
Ready to make this boating season unforgettable? Head to Lou Wendell Marine Sales, family owned and operated for over 40 years and West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Lou and his sons are boating experts from sales to service to repairs. And right now, their lot is packed with incredible inventory and some of the best deals of the season. Because they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com today. Boating season is almost here.
You can call us at 800-765-8255. Text us at 304-825-5304. Or tweet at WEEKLEY. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care. in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Stay ahead of West Virginia weather with Metro News Television, now bringing you a new way to stay informed across the Mountain State. Get updates daily at 9, noon, and 4, from headlines and precipitation to severe weather threats and highs and lows. See conditions from panhandle to panhandle and check travel with the Fly CRW forecast. Our meteorologists are on your screens and on Talkline, Midday, Hotline, and Sportsline, keeping you up to date. Metro News Television weather, accurate, local, and always on.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
All right, let's play in or out. Every day at this time, we focus on the stuff you talk about at the office. We call it in or out. The setup is simple. 3 categories: food or beverage, gut reaction. Finally, this one's about a celebrity, the topics of which change daily. Let's get started with food or beverage. Cooper, you ready to go?
What's in it for me?
Because KFC is introducing its first ever collectible chicken bucket starting tomorrow as part of its new promotion with Supergirl from DC Studios. The design keeps the brand's red and white look, but adds a lid featuring Crypto, the super dog, busting through. The buckets are $30. They're available in limited quantities. No announced restock. The first ever collectible KFC chicken bucket, in or out.
So I'm assuming that these are plastic, right? So that they can't, or some material that's not the paper bucket.
Right.
So you can keep them. You know what? I don't know that I necessarily love the item all that much, but I'm going to be in just because I miss the days when you could get cool stuff tied into movies at the fast food restaurants. Remember all the great glassware you used to be able to get from McDonald's and stuff like that? So anything that gets us closer to having like neat stuff again like that, I guess I'm kind of in on.
Matt Guitar Murphy's joined us. What are your thoughts here? KFC's first ever collectible chicken bucket, in or out?
Question for you. What else do you put in a chicken bucket after you have eaten all the chicken that came in the bucket? What are you going to use that for?
Yeah, my kid would use it for something. She would find a
popcorn, I
reason.
guess?
Yeah, you can use popcorn. Or maybe when you make chicken at home, you can serve it in the bucket.
Or just display it in your room.
Proudly,
whatever.
this is the day that I finished the KFC bucket.
Yeah.
It's an award. Chicken is good. I will be slightly in.
You know, I'm really surprised we're all kind of in on this collectible bucket. I'm in too. Gut reaction. Australian officials just seized over 100,000 illegal cockroaches in a record bug bust. Australian authorities confiscated more than 100,000 live cockroaches from a single breeder in the country's largest exotic invertebrate seizure. Supposedly you have these bugs and you feed them to your pets. 100,000 cockroaches, Coop. In or out?
I read this story and I still don't get it. Like, I'm not 100% sure what the guy did wrong or what the deal is. I mean, I think you should maybe just be put in jail in general for having 100,000 cockroaches. I'm definitely so far out on this. And don't call them water bugs either.
Yeah, don't call them water bugs. 100,000 live cockroaches in or out.
Australia is home to so many strange bugs and creatures.
I bet they're huge, too.
Ugh.
I'm going to do a quick search on Australian cockroach.
I'm way out on this.
Yeah, I'm going to be out on this as well. All right, finally, this one's about a celebrity. Oh, Disclosure Day opens this weekend. Hollywood Reporter is giving this Spielberg movie glowing reviews. The star Emily Blunt. Coop, Emily Blunt, in or out?
I like Emily Blunt fine, and like I've said before, I'm really looking forward to this old school Spielberg summer movie. So yeah, I'm definitely in on pretty much all aspects of this.
All right. Matt Guitar Murphy, Emily Blunt, in or out?
I have no reason to be out, so I must be in.
Yep.
She's cute.
For extra credit, guess her age.
Well, I just looked it up, so I know she's 43.
There you go.
We could date.
There you go. Yeah, Emily Blunt. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, she's really good. Should be really good in the movie. I'm going to be in. All right, guys, thanks. Oh, the phone lines are now open for Tickets Tuesday. 800-765-8255. Jump on for Tickets Tuesday. Today's prize, 2 tickets to go see the band Chicago here in Charleston on June the 20th. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hello there. Flooding potential is our focus through Tuesday night. A slight to marginal risk for excessive rain. Not anticipating severe thunderstorms, but Wednesday looking north and east for a marginal risk for large hail and damaging winds. More widespread marginal threat Thursday. Friday, statewide a slight risk. All hazards on the table potentially. This is with the passing cold front behind that front. Quieter on Saturday. For rainfall, a good inch or more near and east of Charleston. Meanwhile, you go further to the east, those areas not seeing as much action out of this. So this evening, a warm front is to our west, and it will gradually sweep north and northeastward as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Scattered thunderstorms that will be capable of some heavy rains and some localized flooding concerns. That continues into our Wednesday morning. By the later part of the day, some breakup here. Notice we'll have dry periods, but additional storms expected Thursday and again on Friday. FlyCRW forecast starts at home. We'll continue to see some hot and stormy weather in many areas you could travel to, like D.C., Orlando, Tampa, Atlanta. Meanwhile, Charlotte getting hot, but staying quieter. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast. Moundsville once again staying near 70 for a low tonight. 86 there for our Wednesday. Looking to Morgantown for 82. Going east, commonly in mid-60s for lows and upper 80s for our highs on Wednesday with some scattered storms. Elkins 65 tonight. Then a high of 81 here for Wednesday. Looking toward Parkersburg for 86. More commonly mid-60s to low 70s over southern West Virginia, where we'll have highs in low to upper 80s for our Wednesday. The hot and stormy stretch does continue, still on track for Charleston to see 90s for our Thursday and Friday, then quieter over the weekend and cooler next week.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
The 2026 High School Baseball State Championship. 4 classes, 4 champions, 1 unforgettable day. From first pitch to final out, the 2026 West Virginia High School Baseball State Championship, presented by Toyota, Saturday, June 13th. Watch live on Metro News Television, Facebook, and YouTube. Available on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop. Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, Smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com. Join Kyle Wiggs, Coach Hunter, and Brad Howe Weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let me do a quick reset on our question of the day because we got a lot of responses to that, and we're going to play Tickets Tuesday here in just a moment. By the way, we have, if you're on hold, stay there. We have one line still available. One line still available to play Tickets Tuesday, believe it or not. 800-765-8255, 800-765-8255. That's the phone number here. Get on it and join us. We'll play Tickets Tuesday here in just a minute. Price is pretty good. These are the last of our tickets to go see Chicago here in Charleston on June the 20th. So that show is right around the corner. And the categories today, I think you're going to like the categories. I think you're going to love the questions. I wrote them myself. The categories today are WVU and the College World Series, the band Chicago, and, of course, the mystery category, where if you've been listening to the show today, the answer to the question has already been revealed. So let's get that line lit up, 800-765-8255. All right, question of the day, and we'll get into some of your responses after our next commercial break. New survey revealed that 56% of Americans regularly buy shoes they later regret due to discomfort, wasting an average of $279 on painful footwear they never wear. So here's the question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. What is the most expensive thing sitting in your closet right now that you rarely wear? And why don't you wear it? What's the most expensive thing in your closet right now that you rarely wear, and why don't you wear it? The text line here, 304-TALK 304, 304-8255 304. I'm on Exit Weekly, W-E-E-K-L-E-Y, one word, three E's, W-E-E-K-L-E-Y. All right, Coop, are we ready to play Tickets Tuesday? I believe we are. Who was our first contestant / victim?
All right, our first contestant is Bill from Polka.
All right. Hey, Bill, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, man. What are you doing today? Are you on the road or are you at home?
Nah, I just got home from work.
That-a-boy. All right, you know how to play the game. We have three categories, WVU and the College World Series, the mystery category, and Chicago the band. And if you answer the question correctly, you're going to go see the Chicago show here in Charleston on June 20th. Which category would you like?
Let's go with the band.
You want to go with the band? Okay. All right, Chicago the band. Shortly before shortening their name simply to Chicago in 1969, what was the band's original city transit-inspired name? Shortly before shortening their name to simply Chicago in 1969, what was the band's original city transit-inspired name? Was it the Windy City Horn Kings, Chicago Transit Authority, the All-Nighters, or the Brass Tacks? Do you need the question again?
Yeah, one more time, please.
All right. Before shortening their name to simply Chicago in 1969, what was the band's original name? Was it the Windy City Horn Kings, Chicago Transit Authority, the All-Nighters, or the Brass Tacks?
I'll say the Transit Authority. I think I've heard that somewhere.
That is correct. Coop, I didn't throw him off. I didn't throw him off the scent.
No, you tried there. You had a couple in there.
I really thought he was going to go for the Brass Tacks.
The Brass Tacks, yeah. The Brass Tacks was good.
I really like that. Here's a bonus fact on this, Bill. They shortened it after their self-titled debut album because the actual Chicago Transit Authority threatened legal action over the use of that name.
The entity, the Chicago Transit Authority, right? Yeah, I remember reading that. That's hilarious.
All right. Well, Coop, keep those other people on the line.
Hey, it's not my job. They're there.
All right, good deal. So, Bill, are you a fan of Chicago?
Yeah, I saw them the last time they were in town a few years ago.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. I missed that show. It sounds like it's going to be a good show. All right, you got 2 tickets. Who are you going to take?
Probably my daughter.
Oh, now that sounds nice. How old's your daughter?
19.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
She's a big fan of 70s and 80s music. So.
All right. Well, hey, listen, I really appreciate you calling in and playing. Man, hey, did you think what did you think? Did I throw you off the track with any of those other choices, the Windy City Horn Kings, the All-Nighters, or the Brass Tacks? Did you think about picking any of those other names?
None of those sounded familiar. I'd heard the Transit Authority, I think. I've read it somewhere, heard it somewhere.
All right.
It's the only one that even popped in my head at all, so I just went with that.
Well, I got to work on my game a little bit. Hey, I'm glad you won. Thanks, Bill.
Hold on just a second, Bill. I'll get to you in just a moment.
All right, there you go. All right. Yeah, I didn't throw him off I thought he would go for the Brass Tacks.
By the way, is this true? I know that Hendrix performed in Charleston. We just got a text from the 304-946. I saw Chicago and Charleston when they changed their name, but they were still billed as Chicago Transit Authority, and they opened for Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix was a huge fan of Chicago, believe it or not, was a huge fan of their lead guitarist. In fact, Hendrix said that Chicago's lead guitarist was his favorite guitarist.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and Hendrix, I believe, you know what? I'll have to go to the experts, but I believe that was Hendrix's only time he ever appeared in Charleston. All right, who else we got on the line?
Richard hung out for you, so Richard's online from driving from Morgantown to Fairmont.
There you go. Hey, Richard, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am fine. Hey, thank you so much for hanging on the line. I have 2 more questions for absolutely no prizes, but tons of personal pride. Would you like one?
All right.
Which one?
Yeah, let me have mystery.
You want the mystery category? Okay, here we go with the mystery category. All right, so today is the birth anniversary of Dave Parker, the Cobra. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was a 7-time All-Star. He was the MVP of the National League in 1978. He was on the We Are Family World Series winning Pirates in 79. He played for the Pirates, and he played for the Reds. He also played for the A's. Which of the following things about Dave Parker are not true? Which of the following things about Dave Parker are not true? Number 1, he won the very first MLB Home Run Derby in 1985. Number 2, he was the first $1 million a year player in North America. Number 3, from 1975 to 1979, he led all Major League Baseball players with 72 outfield assists, which is a crazy number. Number 4, he was born in a canoe. So would you like the question again?
I'm going to say number 4.
Coop, I got to work on my stuff. Yeah, Dave Parker was not born in a canoe. No, he was born in Mississippi. But all the other stuff I said about Dave Parker was absolutely true. He won the first home run derby at the Metrodome in 1985. After he won the MVP in 1978, he signed a 5-year, $5 million deal. He was the first athlete in North America to make $1 million a season. He had a rocket for an arm in right field. In fact, in 1977, he threw out 26 runners, which is insane. And no, he was not born in a canoe. So there you go. Hey, Richard, were you a fan?
Right.
Were you a fan of Chicago? Did you really want those tickets? I wish I could have hooked you up with those.
Yeah, I did want those tickets.
Hey, where are you going? Are you going home or are you going to work?
No, I'm coming from work, heading home.
All right. How's the traffic?
Well, I'm on 119.
Okay.
Because it's a little shorter to go that way to my house.
I gotcha. Hey, well, thanks for calling in and thanks for listening. I do appreciate it.
Hey, I love your show.
Thank you.
Just wanted to tell you that.
All right. Hey, Richard, I appreciate it more than you know, man. Thanks for listening. All right, Coop, have we run through our contestants / victims?
Yeah, we had Trisha on here, and she was ready, but she didn't want to stick around and talk to you after you gave away her tickets. So, so she dropped off, unfortunately.
She dropped off. I probably needed to make that born in a canoe thing a little bit more.
Hey, we did get a texter that just texted in and said that he was born in a canoe. Where did it go?
In Mississippi?
No, it had something to do. Let's see. He was born in a canoe owned by the Chicago Transit Authority. That was a good
nice. No, what I should have said, I should have made it a little bit more extreme. I wrote it out like that he was born in a canoe in the Ohio River, and he was actually born in Mississippi.
In a canoe?
I probably should have made the story like, a bus driver, helped with the birth or something to throw off the trail. I gotta sharpen my skills on that. I gotta work on that.
A canoe is quite small. That would be. It seems like that would be in the cultural zeitgeist to such a degree that somebody would write, hey, that's the guy that was born in a canoe.
My thing was I just really wanted to write down some really cool stuff that Dave Parker did.
Yeah.
And I think I accomplished that.
Like along the Chuck Norris meme type thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I hear you. I mean, how about the fact that he won the first ever home run derby? That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
1985, it was at the Metrodome. He had 6 home runs in 10 attempts. It wasn't the big deal that it is today.
We're getting somebody calling in. I have no idea who it is. You want to take a hot and see what's going on?
And let me just welcome them to the program. Unscreened phone calls. Hello, you're on Metro News Hotline. Oh, did they hang up?
We might have scared them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Here they. Let's try it again. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm ready. Unscreened phone calls on Metro News Hotline. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
This is Bob in Pocatalico.
How you doing, Bob? What's going on?
Not much, but today they do a brief segment called This Date in Red's History.
Yeah, it's a good segment.
And they talked about Dave Parker's birthday. But on that little segment, they said he was born in Cincinnati.
No, he was actually born in Mississippi, Grenada, Mississippi. Oh,
It looks like those guys would have their birth date straight, wouldn't it?
Is Dave Armbruster telling us wrong, man? Are we getting led down the wrong path?
Listen, I don't want to cross that guy who runs the Reds Museum. Coop, I love that segment, by the way.
Oh, it's a great segment.
Yeah.
I know. I need to look. I'm sure that I have access to that Hall of Fame or the moment that he's talking about.
And you know what? If he was born in Cincinnati, maybe he was born in a canoe.
It could be.
It's possible.
Or a riverboat.
Or a riverboat somehow. So
thanks.
So how you doing, Bob? You doing all right?
He said thanks.
Oh, okay. So
he's out.
His daughter got him a new radio. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He's listening on his new radio.
He wanted to hear you that one.
Yeah, I guess so. I have one question left. You want to take the WVU College World Series question?
Yes.
Okay, here you go. For the first time in history, WVU's in the College World Series after they beat Cal Poly in the Super Regionals last weekend, 17-1.
True, I got it. Oh, sorry.
They set a new program record for wins in the process. They got 45 wins at the moment. WVU in the game banged out 19 hits, including a season-high 5 home runs. So, how many stolen bases did the Mountaineers have on Saturday against Cal Poly? Was it 3, 6, 9, or 12? Do you need the question again, caller? Oh, I'm sorry, you're the co-host of the show.
No, I'm not sure exactly what this total ended up being because I lost resolution when the game started getting a little silly.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to say 6, but I'm not going to be surprised if it's 9.
It's 9.
Okay.
It's 9. And 9 was a season high in stolen bases for the old Gold and Blue, the most since they stole 10 against Pitt 4 years ago.
And they were flying around all over the place.
They were just going. It was like a conga line, man. It's like that Bugs Bunny cartoon. They just kept going around the bases.
That's good stuff.
All right, we'll take a. Do we want to take another unscreened phone call?
It's up to you if you can hit the post.
All right, let's do it. Let's unscreened phone call. You're on Metro News Hotline. Who's this?
Hey, this is Ken.
Hey, how you doing?
I was just listening. I'm doing well, thank you. Parker was born in Mississippi, but he was raised in Cincinnati. So you were right about him being his birthplace in Mississippi.
Hey, I
but he
appreciate.
went to high school in Cincinnati.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I thought I had that story right. And it's rare that we get a caller to say that I was right about anything.
Yeah, I know, man.
Can we clip that for a promo?
I didn't think we could fit any. I mean, if people would see our corrections file, it's just got stuff jammed in it. It's coming out. It's like the only thing in this brand new studio that still looks kind of old and ragged.
It's expanded to a second file, actually. Hey, thanks for the call. I do appreciate it.
I got your back, brother.
All right.
See you.
All right. See you later. All right, let's take a break. We're back with more in a moment.
The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program has been a huge success. High school juniors from all across the state have applied, and we're down to 15 finalists. Now, we need your help. Please go to wvmetronews.com and vote for your favorite finalist. By casting your vote, you can help determine who will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan. That includes room, board, tuition, and fees. Just log on to wvmetronews.com, click the Vote Now button, and cast your vote. You have until midnight, June 14th, to help us change the life of a West Virginia student and their family forever. Cast your vote today by clicking the Vote Now button at wvmetronews.com. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar is supported by Greer Industries, the West Virginia Hospital Association, ZMM Architects and Engineers, the West Virginia Farm Bureau, Friends of Coal, and of course, Metro News. Vote now at wvmetronews.com and help us change the life of a West Virginia student forever.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the next State of Minds.
There's this big power plant that looks like it's going right on top of Davis, and I think everyone was asking the same question, why? We have a rural character, outdoor character, wild character of our county. And we would be kind of putting in this utilities size industrial landscape, and I think it would change the character of our county.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs and 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
By the Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
All right, welcome back. Tickets Tuesday, always so much fun. Thanks to everybody who called in, and congratulations to our winner. Hey, a quick update on the West Virginia High School Baseball Tournament, AAA quarterfinals in Huntington this afternoon. John Marshall and St. Albans going on right now. We are heading to the fifth. No score between the Monarchs and the Red Dragons. Earlier today, Ripley rallied from being down 8-0 to Spring Valley to win 12-10, and Bridgeport walked it off against the number 8 seed East Fairmont, winning 3-2. Here's Joe Bricato's talking about the game-winning run, and we get a little bit of a soundbite from Robert Shields, the coach of Bridgeport here.
The base is loaded and one man out. Avolio sends a fly ball to left field. Rohrig tags at third. He beats the throw home to end it. East Fairmont gave Bridgeport all they could handle, but the Indians advance, winning by the final of 3-2. Spring Valley or Ripley await the Indians in the semifinal round.
And they played great defense. My hats off to East Fairmont. They've always played us tough the last 4 years. And Joe does a heck of a job with them, and he knew. I mean, we had to be patient, and we live to play another day.
So there you go. So Bridgeport walks it off, scoring 2 runs in the 7th inning to beat the Bees 3-2. That was the first game of the day. The Quad A quarterfinals will begin tomorrow morning. That will be at 10 a.m. with GW taking on Huntington, followed by Washington versus Jefferson, Morgantown taking on Cabell Midland, and Hurricane battling Martinsburg. And after that, we'll move into the semifinal round in each of the 4 Mountain State classes. All right, we'll take a quick break, come back, and wrap it up for the day in just a moment.
To the big leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia, nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach.
When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop. Sportsline on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com. Join Kyle Wiggs, Coach Hunter, and Brad Howe weeknights for Sportsline on Metro News Television.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for today's show. We thank you so much for listening and sending your answers to our question of the day and more. Stay tuned for the news at the top of the hour. Sportsline is on the other side. My name's Dave Weekley. I will talk to you tomorrow, beginning at 3:06, right here on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hotline on the Metro News Network is presented by Salango Law, salangolaw.com. Hear Hotline weekdays from 3 until 6 on this Metro News station or WVMetroNews.com. Visit the site or your favorite podcast service for past shows and features. This has been Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.